We're now being told that black women are the more highly educated, the more ambitious, and are generally more successful than black men. These constant narratives and accolades being given to black women actually benefits the system of white supremacy. I have to be very careful how I present this topic because those that are hastily to rush to judgment or that are not critical thinkers might perceive it that I'm attempting to take away deserving accolades from black women. I assure you that's not the case at all. I would never engage in such unethical conduct against our beautiful, beloved black women. However, there's a nefarious reason behind the accolades being presented to black women that actually serves the system of white supremacy. It's exactly as Neely Fuller Jr. said. If you don't understand the system of white supremacy, then everything they do will only confuse you. In order to truly liberate ourselves, we must learn of all the many nefarious tactics that white oppressive forces presently deploys against black people. Upon doing so, you'll then fully understand what it truly means that white oppressive forces are playing chess while black people are playing checkers. We must learn of the white society's many nefarious tactics and then develop our counter strategies to overcome them all. Throughout history, oppressors have maintained their control and dominance over the oppressed by keeping the oppressed believing the fraudulent worst about themselves. Because when the oppressed are made self-loathing, they're much more easier to control. This has remained a consistent fact throughout history and is still the case now in regards to black people living under white oppression. All narratives about black people comes exclusively from white sources. The white society therefore literally owns black people's interpretation of our collective state, and they maintain their dominance over black people by keeping us believing the fraudulent worst about ourselves. Doing so is designed to create black self-hatred and disunity, which attacks the core foundation of what bonds us as a people, and we can then be ruled over forever. It's a well-proven psychological warfare tactic called demoralize, divide, and rule. However, contrary of this nefarious practice, over the last decades, the white establishment has been spreading positive narratives about black women. We're now told that black women are more highly educated, more driven, more ambitious, and are generally more successful than black men. Whenever those who maintains their power over us by keeping us believing the fraudulent worst about ourselves start so uncharacteristically giving accolades to a segment of our population, doing so always somehow serve the nefarious agendas against us. The constant accolades being given to black women are actually propaganda being used to further diminish and psychologically devalue the black man within the collective psyche of black women. I'm not saying that black women have not made significant gains and improvements. What I am saying is that both black men and black women have made significant gains and achievements. But that fact has been distorted to make it appear that only black women have done so to further diminish the image of the black man within the minds of black women. First, they destabilized the black family by creating welfare laws that only provided assistance to black women when black men were kept outside of the home. Then, to keep black men outside of the home, they created the I don't need a damn man ideology and propagated it to black women. These current narratives constantly exalting black women while simultaneously marginalizing black men further subliminally embeds the belief that black women don't need men. Enter the minds of our black women. There's a secret war being covertly waged to create division between black men and black women. The goal is to spread so much disinformation into the black community until virtually everything that black men and black women believes about each other are lies that negatively impacts our relationships. The ultimate goal is the complete collapse of the black nuclear family. Within the United States, All national narratives that black men and black women believe about each other comes exclusively from white sources. This allows white oppressive forces to deploy information warfare that negatively distorts what black men and black women believe about each other. Information warfare is when targeted populations are repetitively sent false information that causes them to make decisions that are against their own self-interest. Through information warfare, many black women are inaccurately perceiving black men through the distorted racist lens of the white society. Case, point, and proof. Many black women currently believe that black dads are the worst fathers. But the truth is the exact opposite. The CDC found that 67% of black dads who don't live with their kids see them on a regular basis, compared to just 59% of white dads and just 32% of Hispanic dads. And there's compelling evidence that number of black dads living apart from their kids stem from structural systems of inequality and poverty, not the unfounded assumptions that African Americans men somehow place less value on parenting. The study also found that black dads are even more likely to think it's important to financially provide for their children. Through information warfare, the white society has totally negatively distorted how black men and black women perceive each other. Case, point, and proof. Through the white society's monopoly over information that black people receive, they manipulated millions of black people to believe that there exists a deficit of black on black love. Many currently believe that most black men and black women are running in droves to marry white spouses. However, the commonly held belief that black people are leaving our own racial group in preference for white spouses is totally false. The truth is, in fact, the direct opposite. The U.S. Census Bureau reveals that 86.5% of black husbands in the U.S. are married to black women, and that only 7% are married to white women. The U.S. Census also revealed that black women are the least likely to marry outside their race, with an astounding 94% being married to black men. Only 4% of black women are married to white men. Most black men prefer black women, and most black women prefer black men. Although the white society has manipulated millions of black people to believe the opposite, black on black love does strongly exist. It's the true narrative that we never hear from the white establishment. It's actually Asian women who have the highest rate of marrying outside their race at 26%. These facts are completely the opposite of the common perceptions held by millions. These contradictions from reality are too great and too widespread to be unintentional. It's not. It's by deliberate design. It's by the white oppressor's disinformation warfare campaign. Through their disinformation propaganda campaign, the white society has also manipulated many black people to believe that having white partners and white spouses automatically leads to better relationships. More specifically, to believe that white women are more supportive and nurturing to their men than black women are, and to believe that white men treat their women better than black men do. This creates an illusory truth effect that many black people then begins functioning based upon as being true. Illusory truth effect is when the public have been, when people have been made to believe false information is true because of constantly being subjected to the false information. And then their thoughts and behaviors align with the false information. Here's the reality. In reality, race is not a determining factor of how someone's going to treat you. It's not at all. The determining factors of how someone's going to treat you include their value system, cultural tradition, learned behavior as observed or taught by their parents, or history of abuse. But skin color is not an actual factor of how people will treat you. Black people are constantly inundated with disinformation that are designed to negatively impact how we perceive each other, how we treat each other. Black people, we must realize that the white society's depiction of us, regardless of how convincing it may appear to be, is not consistent with our reality. Black people, wake up. We must always question our perceptions of reality when it's been exclusively controlled by the white society. Because whenever the perception of reality is being controlled by history's proven most notoriously racist, deceitful, most narcissistic, and most notoriously corrupt group of people, they'll always distort it to manipulate our mind to think the way that serves them. It's the people they are, it's the way they've always been, and it's the only way they know how to be. In the age of information, black ignorance and black mental enslavement is now a choice. Now, you could choose to go continue just reading your Bibles and stay dumb, or you can start learning the social sciences that are being used by the white society to facilitate their ongoing long-term oppression of us. It's time to wake up and learn the truth. One love and peace.